All right, welcome to the Sports Mashup, number 78. September 21st, 2022 is the day of today. Nailed it. And we start in the NBA. A real quick one here. Guard Dennis Schroeder, I believe is how you pronounce it, is back with the Lakers. 1 year, 2.64 mil to fill their last roster spot. So I don't know, are the Lakers better than last year? I mean, it'd kind of be hard for them not to be better than last year, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
I don't remember who they drafted either,
I don't even know if they had a pick.
but I think when I read the article on this, they said that the owner or GM had even called Russell Westbrook before they made this signing and whatever. I mean, he's got to just be signed to be Westbrook's backup.
Yeah, I would think so. They drafted Max Christie, Michigan State, 35th pick. Uh, yeah, that's like, and they
Is
picked
he
up Scottie Pippen Jr.,
is
but
he a guard or a?
guard. Yeah,
So they got picked up two other guards.
yeah, yeah. This team is kind of. I mean, they got Patrick Beverly now, so they got that going. See what that does. Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah. So then where does Schroeder fit in there then?
Probably
The backup two.
ESPN has him listed as the number 4 point guard behind Westbrook, Beverly, Nunn, and Schroeder.
Yeah, but
And
is
and then they
none really
also
a guard or point guard though?
well, that's the thing. They also have Schroeder listed as the starting shooting guard, which I don't think will happen, and then Nunn is the number two.
None. That's the guy from Illinois, right?
He went to Illinois, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, ended up at Oakland.
Is it Kendrick Nunn?
Yeah.
He started with the Bulls, didn't he?
I thought he started with the Heat. Yeah, he started with the Heat.
Did he play for the Bulls?
No.
I don't know what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think the Lakers are better, but whatever. I guess we'll figure that out eventually. So now we have the NFL, the Week 2 review.
Yeah, Thursday night football. You had Chiefs Chargers. Chiefs 27, Chargers 24. This game was a great Thursday matchup. Like if they could get Thursday matchups like this every Thursday, I think you'd get more viewers. Other than the fact that you literally can only watch it on Prime Video.
Yeah, don't expect a matchup like that this week with the Jets, or not the Jets, the Browns and Steelers. That's not going to be
No.
very exciting at all. But yeah, it was a great game. Herbert ends up getting banged up, comes back, has that pick six miscommunication with Gerald Everett, kind of blew the game for them.
Well, I think it was also Greg Olson. I think was talking about it. Uh, Everett, the right after the previous play, he'd caught a ball, and he was putting his hand up,
Yeah,
saying he wanted subbed out, like he was tired, and they waved him off. So I think he was just tired. He ran a tired route, basically.
yeah. So
But what
that
did it come
kind of
back
blew it.
to? Herbert, they have fractured rib.
I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't as bad as what was thought. I do know that he will probably play this week. So either way, it was kind of a measuring stick game. And the Chargers, like people comparing the Chargers and the Broncos and the Raiders all together, the Chargers are way better than those other two teams. And I think that's pretty clear after 2 weeks, but you never know. It's a long season. But this would have been a big win for the Chargers, but they kind of just let it slip late.
Yeah. I mean, the Chiefs' offense still looks good. Their defense, I think, is where they're just lacking a little bit. Like they still give up some easy points.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that was the Chiefs. I mean, probably might be the best defense, at least secondary wise. I mean, total defense that they're going to go against.
Probably,
I mean,
yeah.
you got Mack and
Bosa.
Bosa,
Yep.
and then you have J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel.
Derwin James.
Yeah, I was trying to think of their other corner they have.
They have Nasir Adderley there too. I think he's a safety.
So I mean, their secondary stacked, and then you got Mack and Bosa, and then they have a pretty decent defensive tackle too.
Yeah, the Chiefs, the Bucks defense is good. They'll play them in a couple weeks. They'll play the Bills as well. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty ugly. I mean, the Rams defense will probably be pretty good by late November when they play, but big measuring stick game for the Chiefs because the Chiefs offense is obviously a lot different than it was last year, and I think that it's proving that they'll be fine.
Yeah. Go ahead with your first one.
The Bucks and Saints game, 20-10. Bucks win. They kind of pull away late. A couple of ejections went down, which leads to something further.
Yeah, Mike Evans gets a 1-game suspension. He does plan to appeal it, though. So I'm assuming if he appeals, he's going to be playing this weekend against Green Bay.
Well, I guess it'll depend on how fast they come back with the decision, which I think it'll be fairly quick for something like this. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be upheld if I had to guess. I think that's how they'll handle it.
I kind of understand why Lattimore didn't get one, but wasn't it Lattimore that threw the punch?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. All I remember is Evans coming in.
Yeah, that's why they said he got the suspension Lattimore was talking to, I don't know what receiver it was, and then he was talking to Brady, and then Evans, who was already walking towards the sideline, came back onto the field and hit Lattimore.
So,
which those two already have, a pretty good relationship between each other.
There was already a melee a couple years ago between these two teams. So, I also wrote what is wrong with the Bucs offense, and that's going to be an interesting question because they're playing this Sunday against the Packers, and I'm assuming Evans will not play. Is Godwin or Julio going to play? Because if those three are out, it feels like you're in big trouble, especially against the Packers secondary that, on paper, other than the safeties this season, has been very good. Other than that one half against Jefferson where they played it completely wrong. But they, completely shut down the Bears offense, whatever offense the Bears have in the passing game last week.
Yeah, I mean, if those two don't play, then you're relying on
Scotty Miller and Russell Gage.
And Brashad Perriman.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest factor in that game is going to be the running game because the Packers have really struggled against the run, and Fournette can kill them. So that's going to be, I think, the biggest factor other than the receivers.
But I think, too, they also haven't mixed in the other backs. It's only been Fournette.
Mm-hmm.
Rashad White hasn't really got any touches, and Bernard, I think, hasn't been in hasn't touched the ball much either. And so Brady, if they could get those two in screen games and try running with White, because I think, White runs faster than Fournette. They can mix in a little thunder with the lightning.
Yeah, I think Brady does look a little bit off early, obviously. Just doesn't look exactly like he has, which I think is, maybe just one of those things. I mean, he's faced a couple of teams that have played pretty good defense through 2 weeks. The Cowboys defense looks pretty good, as does the Saints defense usually. But yeah, just look a little bit off. I think he'll be fine, obviously. I don't really see any reason of concern there because I think if he doesn't play well this week, which I expect him to, then the Chiefs game is a perfect get-right game if he needs it because the Chiefs defense won't give him that many issues, I don't think, with Evans back.
And the only other thing you can think of with Brady is if his off-the-field issues, the marriage and stuff is what's messing with him.
He seems to be getting a lot more frustrated faster than he used to. He was annoyed and yelling a lot in that last game.
Yeah, which maybe it could be a thing with Arians not being on the field.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? But it'd be interesting to see how they perform this week.
Then you had the Rams beat the Falcons 31-27. The Rams did let the Falcons come back, though, from being up 31-10.
Yeah, I still don't trust the Rams. I didn't pay that much attention to this game, but I don't know. I just don't. I think there's a Super Bowl hangover factor, but the good thing for them is I don't really think anybody else in their division is any good. I mean, the Niners with what we'll talk about with them is they'll probably be better than expected now, but the Cardinals are still frauds to me and the Seahawks are not good. So that's the thing the Rams have going for them, but they just don't look good yet. Give it time.
Yeah. Once they also figure out their running back thing, like, are they going to give Cam Akers more touches?
I mean, they need to have a situation where they can run the ball whenever they want because that'll open things up for Stafford. But also, their depth chart with running backs has been very bizarre with injuries, and the last couple of years it's been kind of weird. So I don't know.
And then Stafford finally threw the ball a little more to Allen Robinson.
Yeah, which we knew would come eventually. It just takes a little bit.
But I mean, if it's only Allen or Robinson and Cooper Kupp, he's got to find those other receivers.
Is Van Jefferson hurt? Or is he healthy? I don't remember. I thought he could have been.
I thought he played.
Let me check. Yeah, I think he's hurt.
Mm.
I don't think he's even played a game yet, but yeah, when he gets back in there, that'll help as well.
Yeah, and I mean, the Falcons are looking better than people expected.
Yeah, they're going to be a team that's pretty competitive. They got a lot of offensive firepower in terms of Pitts and London, even though they never even really used Pitts yet. But Mariota is a guy you can, be competitive with probably in the right situation.
And the fact that Cordero Patterson went from basically being a punt and kick returner to like a fourth string receiver to now, I don't know how many years he's been in the league, to be a starting running back at his size.
Yeah. Been good for my fantasy team the last couple of years, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
All right, you had this outrageous game, which was the Cardinals beat the Raiders 29-23 in overtime. Hunter Renfrow gets hit, fumble, picked up by Byron Murphy, I believe, and then a touchdown.
Picked it up one-handed, like didn't scoop it, just reached down, palmed the ball, and took off.
Kind of flew in next to everybody that was falling on the ground, and then boom. And man, the Raiders are brutal.
Was it the play before or 2 plays before Renfrow had fumbled, but he recovered?
I think it was the play before.
And, I mean, he got hit hard on that one, and then to go back to him, and then I think he's in the concussion protocol right now.
Well, here's the big thing with this game. It's going to take a while for the Raiders offense to figure it out because they used Waller and Renfrow a lot more in this game.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams had 2 catches on 11 targets, and one of those catches was a very early touchdown.
Yeah, 1 yard.
Yeah, they got to figure that out because they're lucky that the Broncos are struggling and don't look good because they're 0-2 right now. They can't afford to be 0-3. And I believe they're playing the Titans this week.
Yeah.
The Titans are really bad, but neither one of those teams wants to be 0-3 because there's still a sliver of hope for both teams that they can figure it out and get good. Now, I think there's a little bit more hope on the Raiders side because, my God, the Titans look bad. But they got to figure this out. I know it's a new coach, different offense. That's why we can't just overreact to big moves in the offseason. Like, yeah, they traded for Devontae Adams. That's great. I think he's the best receiver in the league. Some people might disagree, but he's absolutely number 1 or number 2.
I mean, he had a big first week.
Yeah, and that's not just going to make them an automatic, contender. Like, I know they made the playoffs last year, but there were some factors as to why they made the playoffs. The Chargers were not as good as they should have been last year. Other teams in the division struggled. Other teams in the AFC struggled that shouldn't have struggled, like the Ravens. So, the Raiders are in trouble. And the Cardinals, I still think, are frauds, but I am surprised they won this game.
Yeah. And I think Kyler Murray needs a haircut.
Probably, yeah.
Tired of seeing his little mini fro.
Yeah, I think we've all seen enough.
Then you had the Jets 31 over the Browns, so 31-30 there. Flacco leads a comeback in final minutes to throw for 2 tutties. I don't know what's going on with the Browns.
Yeah, that was a bad one. That was one of those games that I don't know how they lost that. I will say, Garrett Wilson, yeah, that's. I think if we're looking for a guy who's going to be that big time rookie receiver that puts up big numbers like we saw with Justin Jefferson in 2020 and Jamar Chase last year, I think Garrett Wilson might be that guy this year.
Yeah.
He looks fantastic. And the busted coverage to allow Corey Davis to be wide open down the sideline is just can't happen if you're the Browns. But then again, I don't know what the expectations were for the Browns with Brissett at quarterback. It's still a good team around him, and they shouldn't have lost this game. But I don't know. I don't know how people view them. So
Yeah. I mean, being up 30-14 and then giving up 2 touchdowns in the last 2 minutes.
and the onside kick, yeah, it's bad. It was a bad loss. But now they can turn around and not have Jadeveon Clowney on Thursday against the division rival Steelers. So it's going to be tough. All right. The Lions beat the Washington Commanders, unsurprisingly to me, 36-27. Goff throws 4 touchdowns. His connection with Amon-Ra St. Brown is really, really good. And Carson Wentz is terrible.
Oh, will you please read what I wrote?
What'd you write? Goff shows off his skills for 4 touchdowns. I mean, the Lions' offense is good. They've got 71 points in 2 weeks.
I mean, and this week though, like Goff looked like what he was supposed to look like for the Rams when he started.
He's running an actual offense with a guy with receiver and tight end that he trusts and a good running game. Like the Lions' offense is not going to be their problem this year.
No, I mean with DeAndre Swift and then Jamal Williams behind him, and then week 5 they get Jameson Williams.
Yeah, and you also think about they have what's his face Reynolds, right? From
Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds, and is Quintez Cephas hurt? I think he might be hurt, but he's a decent option. And then, like you said, they get Jameson Williams back, and they also have Amon-Ra and TJ Hawkinson. So, yeah, and they've already had a pretty good offensive line. So their offense is going to be good, and the Commanders are not good. So their Wentz is bad, really bad.
No, and he's got targets to throw to. I mean, with Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin.
Yep. Curtis Samuel, Diami Brown, Logan Thomas.
And he's Antonio Gibson.
J.D. McKissick. I mean, there's options there. It's just that Wentz is completely inconsistent, and he's the ultimate, like, it's similar in college. If you look at somebody like Bo Nix, he can make a huge, great-looking play, and then 5 seconds later, he'll throw the worst interception you've ever seen. That's what Carson Wentz is at this point. Yeah. And he was not that when he almost won MVP. What was that, 19, 18, somewhere around there? I think it was 2018.
And then they'll also get Brian Robinson week 5 from recovering from his gunshot injuries from when he was when he was getting robbed.
I don't know what the problem. I mean, when's Chase Young going to be back? I don't know if he's going to save him, but that would be a big get back.
Yeah. And then the Giants beat the Panthers 19-16. Baker does not look good, and the Giants start 2-0.
Yeah, I think to say the Giants would start the year 2-0 is an absolute miracle, considering people thought the Titans would actually be good. Panthers were always kind of unknown. Yeah. But, yeah, give the Giants credit. I mean, they found a way to win both games, and, yeah, Baker Mayfield is not looking too strong.
No, I mean, the Panthers have – I mean, we talked about it, how – I mean, their secondary, at least at their core position, is stacked.
Is J.C. Horn still out, or is he back?
That I don't know.
Yeah, Matt Rule is going to get fired is pretty much my takeaway from this game.
But, I mean, the Bills or the Giants actually getting an offensive line to help Daniel Jones and Saquon helps a ton for them.
Andrew Thomas, left tackle, has been fantastic in 2 games. What is it? Is he second year out of Georgia, second or third year? I don't remember, but I think he's third year because he was Mekhi Becton class, I think.
But, I mean, if they can keep Daniel Jones and Saquon healthy, I think the Giants could win that division.
Yeah, I think it's all going to depend on the Eagles because I still don't buy the Cowboys, even though they could be 2-1 if they beat the Giants on Monday. I still don't buy them. I think the Eagles are the best team in that division. I don't think it's close, but I also don't think the Eagles are as good as they played Monday. So we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Patriots, their defense holds strong to battle for a win. I like my printer is terrible. It's like blanking out some of these words. Patriots 17-14 over the Steelers. Kind of expected. I don't think anybody thought the Steelers were that good. I mean, they got 5 takeaways and needed a lot of luck to beat the Bengals in week 1.
Yeah. And I mean, they're without TJ Watt.
Yeah. Najee Harris is playing, but I think he's banged up a little bit.
Yeah, he's still battling that Liz Frank from his foot that he set up all preseason with.
Plus, they have a bizarre quarterback situation with Trubisky. They're in a new offense with new receivers, new faces, trying to figure that out. And then you knew the Patriots would probably bounce back and win after a week 1 loss.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the last time. Oh, I mean, it was probably when Cam Newton was there and everything. It was probably the last time the Patriots really lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah, probably. Well, they probably did last year at some point, but not in like a bad way.
But before, like, Belichick was never losing back-to-back games.
Yeah, especially with Brady.
Then you got the Jags beat the Colts 24-0. The Jags' home win streak moves to 8 against the Colts. And Matt Ryan throws for 3 picks.
Yeah, Matt Ryan is bad. The Colts are bad. The Colts and Titans stunningly bad, which makes me wonder, do the Jags have a chance to win the division if they go like 10-7 or 9-8?
Week 1, that whole division didn't even win a game.
And
Matt Ryan also he didn't have Michael Pittman this week.
So the Jags the only team in that division to win a game thus far. And they lost week 1, a very winnable game, too. The Jags could easily be 2-0 right now. Lawrence looks better. Their defense is good. Josh Allen's having a great start to the year. And Matt Ryan and Carson Wentz are probably 2 of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now. So,
and the fact that, what was it? Jonathan Taylor, I think he only had 9 carries. He had 9 carries, 54 yards, but.
Well, how else would Frank Reich set up Matt Ryan to throw 3 picks if he was running the ball with Jonathan Taylor? I'm not blaming Frank Reich, but God, Matt Ryan sucks.
Yeah, you have one of the best backs in the league, and he's only running it 9 times.
That's the problem with the Colts. They can have as good a roster as they want. This is their 4th quarterback in 4 years.
I mean,
it's not going to work.
He's almost running at 10 yards a carry.
And they had like their best season overall, I felt like, with Wentz last year, but they missed the playoffs. And they made it with Phillip Rivers.
Yes, when they had Phillip Rivers, they looked good.
I thought they were a little bit flashier last year in terms of offense because of Jonathan Taylor, but their defense was definitely way better when Rivers was there in 2020.
Like, I don't know how they did not get a deal to re-sign T.Y. Hilton for 1 more year.
I also wonder why they didn't go a different direction at quarterback. Like, they already tried the 35-plus-year-old statue. Yeah. And then they tried the guy who was willing to pretty much break every bone in his body to get a first down or make a throw, and he just wasn't good. That was Wentz last year. So I don't know what they're going to do. Matt Ryan looks like a dead man walking. He's bad. The team's bad. They should be 0-2, but they're 0-1-1, which they're probably lucky to be 0-1-1.
Yeah, I want to see them like fully healthy.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a difference that'll make. What I'm most interested from this game is what the Jags are going to be, because that's an unknown. A wild one in Baltimore. The Ravens lose 42-38. The Finns rally back from 35-14 deficit. They start 2-0 under Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel, who just looks like a high college student at all times, beats Bill Belichick and John Harbaugh in his first 2 games as a head coach. That seems pretty good. Tua looks phenomenal. I know he threw a couple picks in this game, threw 6 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to be extremely hard for oppositions to stop.
Yeah, I think Tyreek had 10 catches.
190.
Yeah.
And then Waddle had like 171. Yeah, we all knew that they'd have some explosiveness. I don't know how sustainable it is, just because at
And
some point you can't just beat people just because you're fast.
And they have good backs.
Yeah, that's always been the. When was the last time the Dolphins had like consistent running game with good running backs? It's been a while. They've been like, when you look at team needs over the last like 5 years, the Dolphins' number one needs almost always been a running back.
Yeah. So what they have? Did they have Devontae Parker still, right?
Yeah.
So they have Parker, Waddle, Hill, and then Gesicki, and then good backs.
It's a good team. Ravens, I don't know. I don't know what to think about the Ravens. I still think I picked them to win that division. I still think they will. They're getting help from the fact that the Browns don't look good, the Bengals look horrendous, and the Steelers are pretty much frauds. So I still think the Ravens are in the best position, but that's one you probably can't lose because Lamar looked really good in this game.
Yeah. And then you had the Niners beat the Seahawks 27-7. Trey Lance broke multiple bones in his ankle. But welcome back, Jimmy G. I mean, Trey Lance had surgery Monday to repair 2 injuries on his ankle, but it's season-ending.
Yeah. Well, they looked a lot better with Jimmy G in there, that's for sure, offensively.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to help them.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't know. I feel like.
And once they get Kittle back.
Yeah, they made a bit of a mistake probably going to Lance like this, but I don't blame them since they did make the pick. What I hate is that everybody knows they were going to take Mac Jones, and then they just flip-flop the last minute to take Lance. I think if they take Mac Jones, it's a completely different situation.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
Because Mac Jones is a game what do you call it?
Game manager?
Yeah, so if he would have sat the first 2 years behind Jimmy G, who's also a game manager, and then next year Jimmy G's gone, Mac Jones' team.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, the Seahawks are bad. We all knew this, so it's not surprising that they lost.
Yeah, I think first game fluke.
Yeah, definitely. Cowboys, kind of surprising win here. They beat the Bengals 20-17. Cooper Rush leads the team, and Brett Maher makes a 50-yard field goal to end the game. The big takeaway here is the Cowboys' defense is good, but the Bengals' offensive line is still horrendous.
Yeah.
And Burrow just hasn't looked comfortable or good. I feel like it's a bit of a problem. And nobody thought they were going to be good last year. They go to the Super Bowl and lose. This kind of feels like the classic coming back down to earth average team with some really good players.
Yeah. Because, you still have your 3 main receivers in Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. You still have Joe Mixon.
And you still have all the defensive free agency signed last season.
Yeah, you got Bates to re-sign. They got that guard from the Bucks, Kappa.
Yeah. And they got Lyle Collins from the Cowboys, offensive tackle. And it hasn't helped so far. Their line looks bad. And it's not just the players. It's like I was watching some offensive linemen break down film, and they're saying like the scheme is bad. Like the way that they're scheming and running their offensive line that way, it's not good. According to them, I don't know. They're the experts, but it's bad. It's all bad. Bengals 0-2.
Then you had the Broncos beat the Texans 16-9. Sloppy game, but the Broncos get the win.
Yeah, this is not even really a game worth talking about. Like, the Broncos are just not there yet. Maybe they'll get there eventually, but yeah, the Texans are bad. The completely boring and unwatchable football game, and I hope everybody was watching either the Cowboy-Bengal game or the Cardinal-Raider game instead of this.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sunday Night Football, Packers beat the Bears 27-10. They finally wake up. Aaron Jones takes over. Rodgers continues to own the Bears. Not surprising. This was kind of the normal Packer-Bear game over the last 4 or 5 years, which is Bears get off to kind of a fast start. Everything settles down. Packers take over. Packers seemingly like to let the Bears back in the game, but usually the Bears don't take it. Packers win by double digits. That's pretty much the script for the last 5 or 6 games probably.
Yeah, and then who was that corner that made that amazing pick that came out of nowhere?
Jair Alexander.
Yeah, like I forgot who it was that was breaking down the film. They're like, Jair Alexander isn't even in the screen right now when the ball's thrown.
Yeah, I mean the Packers, if they have anything, they have every single piece on defense to be good. So they just got to put it all together. You can see it. Like their pass defense in this game was fantastic. Now, I don't know how much of that has to do with the fact that the Bears offense is brutal and Montgomery was the only reason they were even in the game. But I will say this, Justin Fields has thrown the ball 27 times in 2 games. I know the first game was bad weather. He threw the ball 11 times this game. I know running the ball was working. But another big story is Darnell Mooney was supposed to be their number 1 receiver this year. He has 4 yards in 2 games. And Cole Kmet has 0 yards. And that's supposed to be their starting tight end.
I knew he didn't get anything the first week.
He was about to catch a ball in this game, but then Preston Smith smoked Fields and the throw was not accurate. So that's a big story there. I know the Bears are 1-1, but that offense is still pretty bad. Now I know that they're getting used to a new system and all that, and it's better to do that with Fields now than 3 or 4 years from now. But the fact that they're supposed to be number 1 receiver who was putting up good numbers under Matt Nagy, he had -4 yards in this game. 1 reception for -4 yards.
And then you traded for N'Keal Harry, but he also got hurt.
Yep. And Equinemius St. Brown's pretty much the only receiver that's produced at all.
Yeah, because they let Allen Robinson go, and then who else? They let
Miller.
Yeah, they let Anthony Miller go to the Steelers. He also got hurt.
They brought in Byron Pringle and Equinemius St. Brown.
Yeah, is Pringle even?
I haven't seen him do anything, but they're also not even really throwing the ball. So
you even almost said exactly what I wrote here. Packers get up and Aaron Jones takes over.
Aaron Jones is very good. Yes,
I also did right. Rodgers owns Bears.
Nailed it. I will say this about the Bears. I think they play the Texans this week, so that should be a get right. See if their offense can actually start to go type game. I think it is the Texans, though.
I mean, you would hope, but
we'll see.
Then the first Monday Night Football game, you had the Bills beat the Titans 41-7, thrashing of the Titans. But we hope our boy Taylor Lewan is all right.
Yes.
He got hurt early in the game. I think they said it was his knee. I don't know if it's the same knee that he tore his ACL a couple years ago.
I think it was the same knee. At least that's what the pro football doctor said when it happened.
I think what they said was he hasn't played a full season since 2017.
That seems about right, yeah.
Well, I mean, there was that one game against Miami when they threw a pick and he went to make a tackle and someone blindsided him and knocked him out.
Yeah, I remember that. You also had Bills cornerback Dane Jackson taken to the hospital after a collision with teammate. That was a very scary one, and it was a while when they were getting an ambulance on the field, get him there, but everything seems to be okay, so that's good. But it didn't seem like it would be because I know that your neck is not supposed to do what his did.
Yeah.
But it's very good that he's okay. And the big takeaway is the Titans are terrible, and the Bills look like an absolute juggernaut. Now,
there's only 2 games. Their running game still doesn't look that great, though.
No, I think if somebody can – and also not having Gabe Davis probably changed things a little bit in that game, but they still were able to do whatever they wanted with Diggs.
Yeah.
So I don't know if teams are going to be able to figure that out or not. But the other one was not a close one either. The Eagles beat the Vikings 24-7. Jalen Hurts continues to look good, and Kirk Cousins throws 3 interceptions, and the Vikings look the complete opposite of what they looked like in Week 1.
Yeah. In Week 1, it was, Cousins looked good. Justin Jefferson, I mean, he had that play where you were talking about how do you let someone get so wide open, and Justin Jefferson had that Week 1.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Eagles do have a pretty good defense as well.
Yeah, they were all over. Darius Slay was great in this game. Avante Maddox was out there, so the Eagles are good.
Slay gave his pick to James Harden, the
Yep.
ball.
So I don't know. I think the Vikings come back down to earth a little bit. Pretty average team, kind of flipping the script already. Now everyone's like, "Oh, the Packers are the best team in the division." We knew this the whole time. After week 1, they were saying it's time for the Vikings to win the division. It's 2 weeks. We just gotta, whatever happens, happens. Just calm down. But interesting week of football. We'll pick week 3 at the end of the show as well. So now we shift over to the golf.
Yeah, you had the Fortinet Championship last weekend winner.
Max
Fan of
Homa.
the show, defending champion as well. Winner Max Homa won 1.4 million, shot 16 under, which I think he was sitting at like 4th after day 3 because he shot even, and then said, "Nope, take it back over round 4."
Well, you got to have luck on your side sometimes when Danny will let 3 putts from 3 feet and Max holes out on his 4th shot in the 18th. Luck's on your side. And that's what happened for Max. He knows it, but it's another win. It's his 5th win on tour. It's his 4th win in his last 41 starts, which is phenomenal. And it's his 3rd win in the state of California in his career since he's won the Fortinet twice, which is in Napa Valley, and then he won the Genesis in 2021. So
this also was a weekend field too, because there also was the match play event going on too. That Scotty Scheffler beat our boy Kisner in the championship.
And you have Max playing this week, so that'll be good for him.
Yeah, this week you have the President's Cup at Quail Hollow Club in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yep, United States versus the international team. The United States roster is Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, Tony Finau, Max Homa, Kevin Kisner, Sam Burns, Cameron Young, and Billy Horschel. The international team is Christian Bezadenhout, Corey Connors, Cam Davis, Sung J M, Tom Kim, Siwoo Kim, K.H. Lee, Hideki Matsuyama, Sebastian Munoz, Taylor Pendrith, Mito Pereira, and Adam Scott. The format is tomorrow, Thursday, is foursomes, 2v2 alternate shot. I believe there's 5 matches in the morning session and 5 in the afternoon. And then you have Friday is 4-ball, which is pretty much 2v2 best ball. For example, let's say Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas are playing together. Spieth makes a birdie, Thomas makes a par, and then the other 2 players in the other international team make a par. Spieth and Thomas would win the hole due to the birdie by Spieth in that hypothetical. So that's the format there. Saturday is both foursomes and 4-ball. And then Sunday is singles 1v1 match play. So should be interesting. Now, the U.S. is a massive favorite, as we will discuss a little bit during the picks. But should be interesting. Quail Hollow, Charlotte, not the most difficult golf course.
For Sunday, they already have the matchups made, or is it going to be based off the first 3 days?
I believe that the captains of each team will pick who they want to throw out against who. And I think that's the difference between the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup is that if Davis Love, who's the captain for the U.S. team, can make – if he says, okay, I'm throwing Spieth and Thomas out in this match, the first match, Trevor Immelman, the captain for the international team, could say, okay, I'm throwing these 2 against these 2. I think that they just simultaneously put them out in the Ryder Cup. With the President's Cup, you're kind of just back and forth answering each other on those matches. So I think they do that with all 4 days. So
gotcha.
All right, college hoops. The Big 12 commissioner is eyeing adding schools out west, which is not surprising considering schools like Oregon, Utah, some other Pac-12 schools other than UCLA and USC will need to figure something out because I don't think the Pac-12 is going to exist much longer, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, and the Big 12 is losing, was it
Texas and Oklahoma?
Yeah.
And then the Big 10 is going to want to add some of these schools from out west too. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't like any of it, but I'm just going to let it happen and act like it's not happening, I guess, is kind of how I'm viewing it.
Yeah.
All right, Major League Baseball.
You had Kershaw strike out 10 batters a day, and the Dodgers also clinched the NLDS home field.
Yeah, the Dodgers, it's just so stupid. I think they're have 103 wins, 104 wins with like a week and a half or 2 weeks to go. So, yeah, it's kind of dumb how good they are. But now we got to see if they can do it in the postseason, which they've had success in the postseason, just not a lot of success or as much success as people would expect.
Yeah.
And then Max Scherzer gets his 200th win. We all know Hall of Famer was dominant on Monday against Corbin Burns and the Brewers. Perfect through 6, and then he got taken out. He was coming back from an IL stint, so I'm assuming he had a pitch count or an innings count. So, yeah, Scherzer, Hall of Famer, we all know it.
And then playoff picture so far, you have the Astros and Dodgers clinch their division. The Mets and Braves clinch a playoff berth. And 11 teams have been eliminated at the moment.
Yeah, only more to come within the next week. So I'm sure we'll get into more of that and maybe talk some matchups in the next couple of weeks and what could happen with this different format. So
yeah, by next week, I'm like there's going to be at least 15 teams I would think eliminated.
Yeah, and a couple more clinch probably.
Yeah. Player of the week.
I'm going Padres starting pitcher Yu Darvish, 14 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 15 strikeouts, and a walk. Wasn't having a great season, at least last year. He wasn't great. This year he's pretty good, but has turned it up a little bit here late in the season, and the Padres need it.
Yeah. I took Cleveland shortstop Ahmed Rosario, 15 for 39, which in the last 7 days having 39 at bats.
That's a lot.
6 runs, 1 double, 2 home runs, 12 RBIs, 2 walks.
Yeah, it's kind of that Mets Guardians trade with Lindor for Jimenez and Rosario's worked out for both.
With the walks, he's had 41 at bats.
Yeah, plate appearances. Yeah. All right,
nuts.
Let's go to the NHL real quick here. Nathan MacKinnon just won a cup last year with the Avalanche, signs an 8-year extension with the Avalanche, $12.6 million per year, which is just above Connor McDavid, I believe. So no more discount because he will be making 6.3 this season, and it'll kick in next season. But yeah, he just doubled what he was making. So props.
What's that come out to? 8
like
year 12.6.
100.8 million. It's a lot in hockey money. It's a lot.
Yeah.
All right. College football, top 25. Number 1. Well, 1 through 5 is this, actually 1 through 7 is the same, but 1 through 5 remains Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, and Clemson.
Then 6, you got Oklahoma, USC, Kentucky up 1 to 8, Oklahoma State down 1 to 9. Arkansas stays put at 10.
A lot of jumping in this section. Tennessee up 4 to 11, NC State up 4 to 12, Utah up 1 to 13, Penn State up 8 to 14, and Oregon up 10 to 15.
And then Ole Miss up 4 to 16, Baylor stays put at 17. Washington beats Michigan State, jumps up to 18 after being unranked. BYU drops 7 to 19, Florida down 2 to 20.
Wake Forest down 2 to 21, Texas down 1 to 22, Texas A&M up 1 to 23, Pitt down 1 to 24, and Miami hanging on down 12 to 25.
I mean, Texas, the first half, I thought they were going to lose. And they were playing the University of Texas San Antonio.
Yeah, everybody might have gotten too high on Texas quickly just because they almost beat Alabama that one time.
But they didn't have Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, that's true. They look good without him against Bama, but that just shows that I guess preparation matters or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And then, I mean, betting coming in, but there was a huge bet last Saturday in this game. There's a guy who made a 25-game parlay. He had Indiana money line, Baylor money line, Oklahoma with the spread, Michigan State with the spread, which was 48.5. Michigan State won 59 to nothing. He had the Syracuse money line, the over on the Cincinnati, Miami of Ohio game, the spread on Georgia, money line on Coastal Carolina, money line on UCLA, money line on Rutgers. He had the spread on Old Dominion versus Virginia. Old Dominion plus 8.5. They only lost by 2. He had the over on the Ohio Iowa State game. Notre Dame money line, UNLV money line, Tulane spread plus 13.5 against Kansas State. Tulane actually beat Kansas State. He had the Oregon money line, Mississippi money line, Penn State money line, Troy spread, Vanderbilt money line, UAB money line. The over on the Colorado Minnesota game at 47.5 that ended with 56 points. And then he had the over on the New Mexico State Wisconsin game. And then he had Michigan State, Washington. He had the over on that. And then he had the Texas A&M spread at Texas A&M minus 6.5. And they won by 7. This guy bet $7.16 on this. He won if he didn't cash out early, which he posted this before the Michigan State Washington game and the Miami A&M game. If he cashed out then, he would have cashed out for $133,000. If he didn't and rode it out the whole way, he won $1,016,045.
That's a lot and worthy of that whenever you pick that many games in a parlay.
Yeah, a 25-leg parlay, $7 to win $1 million.
Low risk, high reward.
Yeah, that's what, like, when you see before those last 2 games, you could have cashed out for $132,000. Do you cash out there or do you just let it ride?
I think you let it ride.
Or maybe after the Michigan State game, do you cash out?
Maybe.
But
All right.
that Texas A&M game, Miami,
close.
Miami almost got it.
All right, let's do the picks now. Last week for me, 4-1 in Major League Baseball, 7-1 in college football, 5-3 in the NFL, 16-5 overall. Finally, a good week. So probably going to be really bad this week.
So what are you at total now?
482 and 382.
I went 3-2 in baseball, 6-2 in college football, and 3-5 in the NFL. So I was 12-9. I now stand at 502 and 385.
Getting closer. Not
and
really.
Then what was it? Oh, the one football game that I had lost to was the Chiefs -4, and they won by 3.
Yeah, I had Chargers +4, so I got lucky there.
Oh, and then what was it? Oh, the Dodgers-Giants game they had in baseball, Dustin May had 5 no-hit innings.
There you go. All right, let's do Major League Baseball for tomorrow.
I got the Rangers -155 over the Angels, the Twins -130 over the A's, the Braves -150 over the Phillies, Guardians -135 over the White Sox, and then the Dodgers -210 over the Diamondbacks.
I also have the Dodgers and Braves. I do have the Angels +135 at the Rangers, the Mariners -240 at the A's, and the White Sox +120 against the Guardians. President's Cup, USA -700 over the international team. That's just too easy of a pick. I don't think it's going to be that close.
I as well have that, but I don't see that many people betting on it because you got to bet $700 to win 100.
Yeah, the more intricate bets about individual stats and all that, that'll be where people are putting their money down, I'm sure.
No, and we even tried looking if there was prop bets like who raised the trophy and that, and it just had U.S. or international. It didn't have any certain name.
All right, college football, week 4.
ACC, I have Syracuse -9 over Virginia.
As do I.
Big 12, I have TCU -2 over SMU.
Taking Baylor +3 at Iowa State.
Baylor, I don't know what's actually going on with them.
Yeah, their spreads are weird. On the road, they've been bizarre.
Big Ten, I have Minnesota -3 over Michigan State.
Give me Rutgers plus 7.5 against Iowa.
Yeah, that was another weird spread that people were talking about. Even they were talking about Iowa's spread last week.
Yeah, they were like 20.5 last week.
Yeah, after losing to Iowa State.
Yeah.
Pac-12, I have USC -7 over Oregon State.
As do I.
Which I think is going to be a good game. They're both 3-0.
USC's better.
Yeah.
Way better. But it could be good. I mean, it is at Oregon State, so you never know.
SEC, I'm taking New Mexico plus 31.5 over LSU.
I'll take Ole Miss -21.5 against Tulsa.
Understandable. I don't trust LSU that much to win by more than 30 points.
It's fair.
And then we had our 3 primetime games. Starts off, we got number 5 Clemson versus number 21 Wake Forest. Clemson is a 7-point favorite.
I'll take Clemson -7.
As am I. Game 2, you got number 20 Florida versus 11 Tennessee. Tennessee is a 10.5-point favorite.
I will take Florida plus the 10.5.
So am I. And then last you have number 10 Arkansas versus number 23 Texas A&M. A&M is a 2-point favorite.
I am taking Texas A&M -2.
I'm taking Arkansas +2, even though they also did not look good last week. I think I even texted you mid-game of that game.
I think so, yeah.
I forgot who was Arkansas playing.
I don't even know if I remember that. Arkansas,
Missouri State.
Oh, yeah.
I text you, Missouri State, really?
NFL, week 3.
Thursday Night Football, you got Steelers at the Browns. Taking the Steelers plus 4.5.
Yeah, I'll take the Steelers plus 4.5 as well.
Then my 5 games, I got the Raiders -2 over the Titans, the Saints -3 over the Panthers, the Chiefs -6.5 over the Colts. Don't understand that spread.
Yeah, I mean, a little low.
The Eagles -6.5 over the Commanders, and the Falcons +2 over the Seahawks.
All right. I will take the Bengals -5 at the Jets, the Lions +6 at the Vikings, Panthers +3 against the Saints, Rams -3.5 at the Cardinals, and Chargers -7 against the Jags.
And we didn't pick any of the same games. I mean, you took the other opposite on the Panthers Saints game, but
yeah,
usually we have more. But that Chiefs spread, I thought it was going to be way higher than a touchdown.
Yeah, true.
Sunday Night Football, we got the Niners at the Broncos. I'm taking the Niners -1.5.
Hell, I'll take the Broncos +1.5. They're going to look good at some point, I would think. So what the hell?
Jimmy G at the helm. Kittle may be back, which is going to help their offense even more.
That's all true.
Monday Night Football, you got the Cowboys at the Giants. I'm taking the Giants -1.
Yep, I'm taking them as well.
There's going to be a little hangover out of a little Cooper Rush.
Yeah, I agree. I'll take the Giants.
The Cowboys defense can only do so much.
Giants starting 3-0, man, that would be quite a world. All right.
Yeah, when's the last time that happened?
Maybe that one year they made the playoffs, like 2016 or whatever, but I don't know.
Eli was still at the helm.
Yep, that was the boat picture year where they got destroyed by the Packers at Lambeau in the wild card round. But anyway, that'll do it for us. We'll see you next week for number 79, our last one of September. Lots of football, golf, baseball, all that to discuss. We'll see you next week for number 79.
Deuces.